Making your own bread is a really fantastic way to cut your grocery budget very quickly. And sourdough breads have an additional depth of flavor that make it really easy for me to keep coming back to because it's such a delicious result. Today, I have two of my family's favorite sourdough recipes to share with you, and hopefully that you can add to your repertoire. Let's make some sourdough cornbread. You're going to start with half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. You can also use butter, but again, I do not eat any dairy, and so coconut oil is one of my go-tos. Then we're gonna add 2 eggs. Let's see if I can do a one-hand crack on this. Yeah, win for me. Half a cup of just plain sugar. You could also use honey. I actually prefer it with honey, but because I've got a little one under a year, we're not doing honey and baked goods right now. Then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. Add 1 more for luck. Half a cup of sourdough starter. I don't know if it's because of the starter or because of the coconut oil that I use instead of butter, but this cornbread is like cake. All right, so now I've got all my wet ingredients. I'm gonna give that a mix and then come back. Now that those are mixed up, I'm gonna go in with 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of cornmeal. I have 1/4 of a cup right here, so I'll do 2 of those. Small helper did not want to help me today, so she's playing in the background. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Baking soda.
No, not baking soda yet.
Powder.
Yeah, just powder. So that's 1 and 2. Make sure you get it just all over the place. And then half a teaspoon of baking soda and then 1 teaspoon salt. I'm going to mix this up and then drizzle in half a cup of milk of choice. I am totally out of regular or non-dairy milk, so I'm gonna use creamer. We'll see how it works. It's unsweetened, so it's basically just a mixture of almond and coconut milk and should be fine. I'm gonna mix this 1 more time on low. So I'm gonna add this mixture to this greased pan, and it's going to go into a 375-degree oven for 28 minutes. All right, this is the finished product, and it is amazing, like cake. You need to make it. All right, let's get started with some sourdough bread. This is the best recipe I've ever made. We're gonna start with 1 cup of starter and then add to that 1 1/4 cup water and then 2 teaspoons of salt. After that, we're gonna go in with 4 cups of flour total, and then I'm gonna start mixing. Mix it all up into a dough. I do like to hand knead it just for a little bit before I put it into an oiled glass bowl and cover it to rise overnight. So a full 12 hours this needs on a rise. I am going to make sure that that is covered in oil before I cover the bowl in plastic wrap and let it rise. All right, the next morning I'm gonna uncover that and attempt to dump it out onto my counter when it doesn't work. I'm going to scoop it out by hand. Once I get that out of the bowl, I'm going to shape it into a round. And then once that is shaped, you want to make sure you're looking at kind of a tight skin on the top. I'm going to pinch my seam closed and spin it around a couple times to try and make it disappear. And then I'm going to put a flour sack towel in that same glass bowl, coat it with flour, and then put the bread loaf back in to rise for another 4 or 5 hours or until it's doubled. Now that it's doubled, I'm going to dump it out onto my stovetop. My oven is currently preheating to 500 degrees, and there is a cast iron Dutch oven inside. Once I separate it from my flour sack towel that was not coated nearly well enough with flour, I'm going to transfer the loaf with the parchment paper into the Dutch oven, put the lid on, bake it for 25 minutes at 500. So after another 25 minutes at 450, I'm going to take it out to finish cooling. And there you have a beautiful sourdough round. Eat with soups, eat with sandwiches. Subscribe for more baking and general budget cutlery. I'm Kate, a married mom of 2, and I love to bake. I don't always have time with work and other responsibilities around the house, but I've found that it's easier for me to bake with sourdough because it has a lot more inactive time than other types of breads do. It's really easy to say, hey, I've got 10 minutes, I'm gonna do this quick, go take care of the laundry or of the kids or of making dinner or lunch or whatever else, and then come back to it way later whenever I'm really ready to get stuff done on it again. If you're new to sourdough, I've also linked the method that I use to create my starter down below. Hit the like button or comment below if you are inspired to bake something today. Have a great day. See you next time.